It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NBA.
Dallas was so attractive because of the young players they have, the style of play, the world-class treatment these players get from this organization, and just a beautiful city who loves their hoops. When I was watching the playoffs and I'm watching the Mavs, make a run for the championship, I just saw myself fitting in really well with this team and the personnel, and they look like they have fun playing with each other, and they play for each other, and that was very attractive for me, and that's really all I needed to see, and there's mutual interest there, and that's why I'm here.
That's Klay Thompson on a list of reasons he left the Warriors and joined Dallas. Of course, there were issues in Golden State, but that's all behind him now. How much has he got left in the tank? And that was a fine answer, but he could have said it much more quickly. I want to play with Luka. And there you go. Utah Jazz Summer League team smoked, buried, blown out by Oklahoma City Thunder, 98-75. First off, Dylan Jones looked awesome. He came out in the first half, and he just did whatever he wanted. He got a couple of wide-open threes, so those were gifts. But a three-point play going to the hoop, he was everywhere. The Jazz had zero answers for him. He looked great. Kenneth Lofton Jr. led the Jazz with 18 points. You just watch him play, and you think, okay, that's good in Summer League. But at the weight he's at, how can he play in the NBA? The lift you give up when you're that heavy, the conditioning, there seems like there's a couple guys on every team in the Summer League who just, like you're too, in the words of Will Harrington, fuck, to play in the NBA. Long and lean is what wins in the league. So I watched him go. Now, of course, we didn't see Keontae George. We didn't see Taylor Hendricks. They were sitting guys last night. They're going to play him every other game because they've got, games day after day after day. So you give different guys a chance to play, and you don't run some guy down when he's playing his fifth game in 7 days. He's going to be too gassed to really look good. So what are you going to learn from that? So I would anticipate that we see Hendricks and Keontae George tonight. Jazz wrap up the Summer League tonight against the Philadelphia 76ers. 7 o'clock. The game's right here on The Zone. It's on KJazz. It's on ESPN2. It's on Jazz Plus. It's on ESPN Plus. So wherever you want to find it, you ought to be able to find that game tonight. And we'll see how Keontae and Taylor Hendricks do as they return to action. The guy that is really intriguing me, and I don't want to get too high or too low on Summer League because they don't know each other and it's unstructured. And the one thing that's really missing for guys who attack the rim is you just don't have as many big guys as you're going to face in the NBA. So just because you can do it in the Summer League doesn't mean you can do it in the regular season. We all know that. But having said all that, Collier looks really comfortable on the ball and looks capable of getting into the paint anytime he wants. It seems really pretty easy for him. So we'll see where that goes. DJ and PK, we got a couple other notes here. Spurs introduced Chris Paul to the media yesterday. He said his decision to join the team was more about playing time than chasing the ring. Okay, was it about the money by any chance?
Well, $11 million and a team that went 22-60 would indicate.
For $11 million, I could chase the ring.
But he was slated to make 30+ million had the Warriors held on to him.
Well, yes, but the Warriors weren't going to do that because the Warriors don't want to be over the apron, and Chris Paul's just not worth $30 million. I don't know if he's worth $11 million at this point, but when you have a young team and you have to get to the salary cap floor and you got to spend the money on somebody, you give it to him for 1 year, you have it back next year, see if you want to make another deal. Clippers star Kawhi Leonard said he was not surprised by Paul George's departure from the team. The duo knew early what it would take to keep him. We knew, quote, we knew what it was before the season. We knew what it was going to come down to. We talked the whole way through. It's no surprise. They have to win big, so they bring him back because they're scared of the second apron and all the limitations the new CBA puts on teams who go across that. The fact of the second apron, which just sounds like a goofy expression, I can't believe I'm having to use it here over and over. Hard cap. It's not a hard cap, but it might as well be. The penalties are so stiff, teams do not want to go over it. And in the NFL, you can't go over it. You get to a number, and either people have to take a pay cut or you got to let people go because you cannot go over that number. Now, this isn't called a hard cap, but it sounds like NBA teams are looking at each other going, you cannot go over that number. So the expensive veterans will continue to move. Kevin Durant will miss tonight's Team USA exhibition game against Canada. Calf strain. He's not practiced yet during the team's training camp after being injured in the lead up to the camp. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NFL.
Honestly, I'm getting older. It's the same ankle, right, that I snapped and had a nasty surgery on 4 years ago. So a couple of hard days of training and, you get a little sore and then you're going on a fishing trip and you want to protect it and make sure that things don't get worse. So literally, it is absolutely nothing. That's why I said people are reaching, trying to make things that they aren't. I'm getting older, have to take care of my body, have to be smart. And if I can take precautions and lessening something by putting on a boot, I'm going to do it. And so sorry that it caused such a whirlwind.
Dak Prescott explaining why he was photographed in a walking boot while on vacation in Cabo San Lucas. Are we that addicted to our celebrities that we need photos of them fishing in Cabo? I would like the answer to that question to be no. But the answer to that question is clearly yes, we are addicted. We are that addicted to our celebrities. And his celebrity is why he gets paid so money, so I guess it's just part of the deal. But it seems weird to me. I'm not that addicted to Dak Prescott. Dak can go fishing. I don't need the photos. Now, as someone who hasn't done a lot, just a little, but not a lot of walking around on, a wet boat, are you safer? Your ankle is maybe safer in the boot, but what about the rest of you? You slip, you go down. Seems like a risk because the leg bone's connected to. Never mind. Former Cleveland Browns quarterback Bernie Kosar has been diagnosed with cirrhosis of the liver and Parkinson's disease, according to a story in Cleveland Magazine. The 60-year-old is on a list for a liver transplant and said he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease by an independent NFL doctor in February. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
So I looked it up on my phone. What would be the legal limit? Like in Oklahoma is .08. And Ollie was 0.1. So I looked it up, and it was based on body weight. Not to get into the legal side of it, but I thought really 2 or 3 beers or 4. I'm not justifying what Ollie did. I'm telling you what decision I made. Well, I thought I've probably done that 1,000 times in my life. And I, it's just fine. So I got lucky. People get lucky. Ollie made a decision that he wished he could have done better. But when I talked to Ollie, I told him, I said, you're lucky you got out light because you make a lot of money to play football. So back in the day, being able to cover the cost of what he's going to go through would be difficult for a college player. It's not for him.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not speaking for him, but I'm just saying that's not an issue for him. So nobody got hurt. I said, we see people doing this and people losing their lives across the country, not just football players, but everybody. So you got out lucky.
After that answer, Mike Gundy took to social media later to clarify, quote, my intended point today at Big 12 Media Days was that we are all guilty of making bad decisions. It was not a reference to something specific, close quote. Well, I agree with that part. We're all guilty of making bad decisions. We are. We all do that. Maybe not that specific bad decision, but a bad decision somewhere. It's not a reference to something specific. Oh, sure it was, Coach. Come on. That answer didn't go over well. Now, just earlier this week, we're talking about when something goes wrong, we can't count on football coaches, general managers, ADs, people who want to win to make the decision. You got to put the pressure on the politicians so that whatever you think the price is for whatever, obviously we're talking about a DUI. I think earlier we're talking about a domestic abuse situation, right? These are things that keep coming up over and over again. They come up over and over in society. They come up over and over in sports. Got to put the pressure on the politicians to make the penalty for whatever the crime is fit the crime and be enough. Because then if you're counting and you think there should be more and you're counting on a coach to make a decision, does that sound like a coach who wants to bench his star running back? Is there any chance this is going to happen? Have we not had this discussion 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago? This has been going on forever. He's right. He did get lucky and nobody got hurt. And he's right. Bad things do happen all the time. And the decision here is a DUI. It could be drowsy driving. It could be speeding. We've seen that over and over as well. So part of that, but then also you got a coach who's just trying to justify playing. And PK and I were talking about this. Do you think he's going to be suspended for a game? It certainly wasn't going to be for the conference opener with Utah. No way. So the question is, will it be the first game or not at all? And it looks like not at all. Texas quarterback Arch Manning, in a sign of the times, has reportedly opted out of having his name in the EA college football video game. And then came the announcement yesterday, I'm going to be in the game. And he's reportedly going to get paid $50 to $60,000 to be in it. What's the going rate on that, Yak? Isn't that about 10 times the going rate?
Yeah, well, no, that's far more than that because all these players are going to be in it. So there's more than 10,000 have opted in. It's $600 and a copy of the game, which is about $70. So.
$600. I did have the number 6 in my brain, so yes. It's not 10 times.
It's 100.
It's 100 times. My bad.
Now, here's the thing. He's not only getting the $50 to $60,000, he's also still getting that $600 in the copy of the game as well.
So he's getting $60,600 or $50,600, whatever it is. And why do I think he's going to have an NFL contract? And this will all be peanuts along the way anyway.
Well, when you announce it doing a commercial with your Uncle Eli Manning.
The combination of the talent and the last name is just unbeatable, isn't it? The talent would get him somewhere. The last name will get him somewhere. But he's got the talent and the last name. All right, more college football coming up. Big 12 Media Days. We've got more with the Utes coming up later in the 7 o'clock hour. Actually, in our next segment, Mark Harlan with PK. In the 8 o'clock hour, Yogi with PK. And we're going live to Vegas at about 8:30, and then we'll be live all day with BYU coming up later today. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
4-2 Pirates in the 6th. Bryce Wilson coming home. Swing, fly ball, deep left field. Yelich back to the wall. There it goes! Grand slam, Joey Bart. And the Pirates beating up on the Brewers in Milwaukee. Oh, that feels good. It's 8-2.
Mariners hosting the game last year. Here's a swing and a drive. Deep to left field. Way back and goodbye baseball. Upper deck left field. Welcome back, Julio Rodriguez. Number 9 on the season.
Fitzgerald, the winning run at third with 2 down. 2-2 pitch. Change up. And the day that bounces away for the catcher. And here comes Bailey. The ball game is over. And the Giants with another come from behind victory. And this time they win it on that change up that was a wild one.
That's John Miller. That's the San Francisco Giants winning on a walk-off wild pitch. They beat the Blue Jays 4-3. The Giants are 2 games under 500, which leaves them about 2.5 games out of a wild card berth. So, yeah, they're not good. We're still in it. It could happen. We're still in it. And given what the Diamondbacks did last year, that was not a great regular season. That was, 84 wins? And yet they got to the World Series. So, as much as it sounds like a joke to say they're still in it, they are still in it. The Yankees, still in it, but trying to play their way out of it. What is wrong with the Yankees? Why have they suddenly fallen apart? I mean, they were soaring. They were 50-22. I mean, let's talk 1927 Yankees. One of the legendary let's not. They've gone 5-16 in their last 21 games. And the headlines are hilarious. I'm looking at ESPN.com. Cashman joins Yankees amid slide. Hal on hand. Yeah, the GM's got to travel with the team. They're in Tampa, and of course the Steinbrenners have been in Tampa for generations now. Hal's on hand. So Cashman's got to go down there to Hal while the team's there and smooth it over and save his job. And you don't have to be there. You can just turn on the TV. What's wrong with the Yankees? I don't know. They just gave up 17 runs. I don't know. They lost 9-7. I don't know. They lost 12-2. I don't know. They lost 9-2. I don't know. They lost 9-3. They're giving up a gazillion runs. It's a long season. I got time to turn it around, but 21 games is a pretty good chunk of the season. That's more than 10% of the season right there. 5-16 is a terrible run. The Dodgers were also off to a sensational start like the Yankees, but you just can't run around playing 700 ball and not have a cold stretch, cool off, and come back to earth a little bit. Well, Phillies and Dodgers, and there's an argument right there that those are the top 2 teams in the National League that we'll see in the NLCS. See if it plays out that way. The Dodgers are now playing under 600 ball. With that loss, 10-1. The Phillies smoke them. The Dodgers are at 598. So they've come back to earth after a sensational April and May. Salt Lake Bees lost to the Sacramento Rivercats 6-2. It was close. It was 2-2. Rivercats blow it open in the ninth. Same two teams tonight, 6:20. Tony Parks on the call right here on The Zone. What is Trending is brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. All right, coming up, more from Big 12 Media Days. PK with Mark Harlan next. Yogi Roth at 8 o'clock. We're going live to Vegas at 8:30. BYU talks later today. Stay with us right here on The Zone.